So we're back out in the shop and we're getting into some silver car shenanigans. I already opened the box, but I'm gonna show you what we got. And once you see this, then you'll kind of have an idea where we're going. One thing we got was from KLM. We ordered a head flange for like a coolant port. And then we got the Track Tough DIY swirl pot. So we're gonna build a swirl pot for the drag car. This thing's pretty cool. I like that they prepped the pipe and everything, so it looks really, really good. So I ordered this kit online, substantially cheaper than the rest, which I hope I got a -16 that'll fit in this. No, I think that's 12. Or is it? Hell, I don't know. I thought I had another -16 bung floating around, but that's a 12, so that's a drain fitting. But yeah, so we got that stuff in the mail. And I've got some other stuff for the car, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to try and get this mocked up and finish this off, and then we can add the new radiator I have for the car. All right, so here's our used CSF radiator. Thing's pretty beat up. There's a good chance that thing doesn't even work. It's super, super beat up. It's had a bunch of fittings welded on it and whatnot, but got the old outlet housing. And then we've got this KLM piece. I run studs on mine. Kind of get an idea where this thing's gonna sit. So I'll kind of start this in here. So got that kind of fitted on there. And then we could have bought like a Speed Factory one or something, but with the way my up pipes and stuff sit, it wasn't gonna be a good option. It was going to put it like right here, so it was just going to hit everything. So I opted for the DIY kit in hopes that I could make it fit my setup, because my up pipe situation is a little different than most people. So yeah, I'll grab some of these pieces and just kind of try and see if we can get an idea where this is going to sit. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'm going to put it kind of back here. It'll kind of set back off away from the pipes, and obviously where the pipe sits like this, it's obviously long, but pretty much you can see where the edge of this cutout is. So that's where the edge of the 3-inch piece will sit. So it'll sit back in here. So that should be relatively good. So I'm gonna cut this one up short, test fit it again, make sure my placement's good, cut this down, and then we'll test fit it again. All right, so I got that piece tacked up where I wanted it, and I'm gonna snug it up on a cylinder head here, an old junk one, in hopes to not warp this flange when I weld it. I got it marked sort of where I want it here. I need to go through and mark all the way around it, and then I can go through and cut and open all this up and then weld this onto here. But probably won't do that first. I'll probably actually weld the ends on it first. This is the bottom, but I'll probably go ahead and mark these, get it all cut out, and then I'll weld the bottom and the top on it, and then I'll weld this up on here like this. But definitely probably need to get the top and the bottom welded on it. But anyways, I'm going to burn this in on the flange here, and then we can keep moving forward trying to get this all cut out so we can weld it to that pipe. So I got this little piece. It's mostly welded on. I still got to get around this back side here, so I'm going to take it off the head so I can burn this in here. I got it welded to the head flange. I did get most of that cut out. I'm going to go in there with my long grinder tool here, and let's see if I can show you. I'm going to clean up and grind out a little bit more of this. That way there's not like a restriction there, but it's turning out pretty good so far. Yeah, welds aren't the nicest, but hey, stuck together. That's all that matters. But yeah, once I get all this welded on, I'll go test fit it back on the car, and then I can weld the lower cap on after I get all this grinded out. And then I did get the upper cap welded together, so you don't have like a seam out here. I will weld this on the top. Probably gonna weld it off like this, so this fit in here can go off and go over to the catch can or the overflow can. So yeah, we'll go through and then we'll weld all that in, and the same thing with the bottom. Ouch, that was my finger, just smashed it. It's cool. But yeah, and then once we get this welded up, get the bottom on it, like I said, we'll go and test it on the car, and then we'll figure out where the top, well, here's right here, where the placement for the top needs to be in relation with the up pipes. And then once we figure out where that's going to be, we'll probably end up cutting it down, and then that'll have a -16 on it. Got it kind of half mocked up on there. Placement looks pretty good. Like I said, this is going to probably do something like this. Maybe straight off. Maybe I'll just do it straight off there, because this is going to need to go into here. I don't know. I ain't decided where I'm going to put that yet. But yeah, so that's what it'll look like with the top on it, and then we'll have to figure out where this needs to go for the lower hose. Probably going to leave it semi-short, or going to cut it semi-short. That way it'll be easier to make the transition off of a bend down to the radiator. It's probably going to need to be like a 45 off this pipe, so this is probably going to go somewhere in like right here. I'm going to try and keep it away from the up pipe, and then keep it kind of symmetrical to the intake or the charge pipe here. But yeah, so it'll probably be something like this, and then like I said, we'll cut it short probably back here, and then it'll have an AN on it. Looks pretty good. Kind of hides back there. Looking pretty good, if I must say. All right, pull back off, do some more cutting and some welding. All right, there it is. Got it all welded together. This is where the AN will be up top. There'll be 16 AN there. It welded in pretty good. I ended up using 5356 filler rod instead of 4303. I used 4303 on most of it, and I just didn't like the way it welded out, so I ended up using the 5356, and it looks a lot better. It looks a lot nicer. I am probably gonna take that and probably paint that black to match the valve cover and the intercooler piping and stuff, and probably the same thing with the radiator. I'm probably gonna do the radiator black as well. You know, the intercooler is kind of black, which I may end up blacking all that out too. And we are gonna do some stuff in the front bumper here with some like sheet aluminum to try and direct air into the intercooler instead of kind of letting it go around it. So yeah, we'll do that at another time once we get the car in the shop and whatnot. But we are going to have to make a bracket here to hang this radiator off of, and I think I'm just going to make a flat piece that comes right off the top of the intake there, and then I'll just put 2 bolts on the top of it, and that should be plenty to hold it up. We may have to put one on the bottom of it, but we can't do that right now because I can't get underneath the car. But for the time being, we'll probably end up, like I said, just doing that for now. And yeah, it's gonna look pretty good. I do like the Track Tough DIY kit because I can make it how I wanted to. Like I said, with the up pipes and stuff right here, I wasn't sure like one of the Speed Factory ones or something would fit it and clear those, and I didn't want to buy a $300 piece and it not fit. So at least this way I could place it and put it exactly how I wanted it on my car. And I think that kit was only like 130 bucks or 135 bucks. Only downfall is it doesn't come with the -16 unless you opt for it, and it doesn't come with a radiator cap. It is the same as like a normal Honda radiator cap. And then I did opt for the 1/8 inch bung down here for coolant pressure, and I had the coolant pressure kind of remote mounted before, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the sensor right in the back of that. That may end up causing me problems, and I may end up getting some weird feedback on the sensor. If that's the case, then I may end up remote mounting this and mounting it on the side of the head, and then having Josh make me a little bit shorter line, because this line that we had on it before is pretty long, so we may have to make a shorter one. to get to where I want to mount this sensor. But for the time being, I am going to just take it and put the sensor right in the back of that, and we'll just make everything a little easier on me. But it's nice to do some work on the old girl. She is dirty and grimy and gross, and it doesn't look really good in this camera, but we're going to try and get back on this car this winter and spring, and hopefully we can take it out and actually maybe get to do some racing with it. The car's not made a good solid pass with this new turbo setup on it, and this all went on the car back in like 2017, I think it was. We did make some short track passes with it, and that was back when it was on Hondata, and then we went to the Motec, and the car is yet to make a full pass on Motec, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get into some of that later in a later video. But all right, so we got it all welded up, and it's pretty much ready to go. Cinematic view here. Got the bung back here on the back for the coolant pressure and all that, but welded out pretty nice. I think I am going to paint it black so it blends in the car. So once it cools off, I'll go through, clean it all off with some acetone, tape up the flanges and stuff, and then we'll put some satin black paint on it so it matches, and then we'll get it bolted in the car. All right, so we got it all painted up, we got it all taped up, ready for some paint. Wiped it off with some acetone, and we're gonna use the old trusty Van Sickle industrial satin black. Should give it a nice satin finish and be relatively durable. This stuff, like I said, this is poor man's powder coat if you ask me, but yeah, let's lay some paint down. I went ahead and got my little bracket made and welded onto the radiator, so that's all nice and sturdy. Obviously it'll be a little more sturdy once it gets the hoses and stuff made on it. And then we got the fitting welded on that and got it painted black, so now it's going to blend in really nicely with the rest of all the black stuff. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to do the radiator black or not. I might. The only thing that'll be raw aluminum is going to be the intake manifold. But yeah, it's all it's coming together pretty nicely, if I might say. Little CFS radiator action there. Looks good. But that's going to do it for this video. Man, check out that fresh hat. These are new on the website, by the way. Go check them out, mremotorsports.com. But a little bit of progress on the silver car. Haven't worked on it in a long time, pretty much since we went to PFI speed back in 2021. And we're going to try and get this thing out this year. That's the plan. Got some other changes coming to it. But once we get the garage space or shop space cleared out and make some room and start doing some real work to it, cleaning it up, because this thing needs to go outside and get clean because it is nasty. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the dirt on it. You can see it. It's terrible. But yeah, like I said, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep following along. Don't forget, comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.